Kenny Rogers didn't come into this world with a silver spoon or an easy road ahead. Born in Houston, Texas in 1938, he was the fourth of 8 children in a working-class family that scraped by through hard times. His father, a carpenter, fought a losing battle with alcoholism, and his mother worked cleaning floors in a hospital to keep food on the table. Growing up in public housing, Kenny learned early what it meant to go without. And even later in life, he never forgot the ache of those nights when the fridge was empty and the hope felt even thinner than the worn-out soles on his shoes. As a boy, he found something special in music. He bought his first guitar with money he made shining shoes at a barber shop, and he taught himself to play, mostly at night, sitting on the edge of his bed, with a flashlight tucked between his knees while his brothers slept around him. He didn't know it then, but music was already saving him. Through high school and into his early 20s, Kenny played in all kinds of bands. Jazz, rockabilly, doo-wop. Whatever people wanted to hear, he would try to deliver it. He was never chasing fame. He just needed the music because it was the only thing that felt like a way forward. His first taste of real success came in the late 60s with a band called The First Edition. They had a psychedelic hit, Just Dropped In, to see what condition my condition was in. And for a little while, Kenny got a taste of the big time. But like so many early runs at fame, it didn't last. By the time the 70s rolled in, he was nearly broke again, pushing 40, and wondering if the dream had passed him by. But something in him wouldn't quit. Then came Lucille, a song about a broken man in a bar, left behind by a woman who chose herself over the family they built. It was raw, sad, real, and it struck a chord with people all over the world. Suddenly, Kenny Rogers was no longer the guy who used to be in a band. He was a voice for the people who had been left, hurt, cheated, and bruised by life. Then came The Gambler. It wasn't just a hit, it was a piece of American folklore. A story set to music, delivered in a voice that sounded like it knew the weight of every word. You got to know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em. It became a saying, a philosophy, a way of life. And Kenny, he became the storyteller of a generation. He followed it with hit after hit. Lady, written by Lionel Richie. Coward of the County, Through the Years, and of course his legendary duet with Dolly Parton, Islands in the Stream. And oh, Dolly and Kenny, and they were never a couple, but the way they looked at each other on stage, the way they sang together, it was enough to make millions believe in love again, even if just for the length of a song. But fame wasn't all lights and applause. Kenny's personal life was more complicated. He was married 5 times. And though he once joked that he was more committed to music than marriage, he also admitted he often didn't know how to balance love and ambition. In the later part of his life, he focused deeply on being a father again, especially to his twin boys, born in 2004, when Kenny was already in his 60s. He slowed down, not because his fame had faded, but because he knew what really mattered in the end. Behind the scenes, Kenny gave generously, but quietly. He donated millions to children's hospitals, supported education, funded food drives, and never called the press about it. He believed that giving wasn't about recognition, it was about doing what's right. In 2015, as his voice began to wear and time began catching up, he announced his retirement with a final tour, The Gambler's Last Deal. That tour wasn't a farewell. It was a thank you. A final ride through the stories he had given us, told one last time in that warm, gravel-dusted voice. He finished his final show in 2018. 2 years later, on March 20th, 2020, just as the world was shutting down in fear and uncertainty, Kenny Rogers passed away at home, surrounded by family with no fanfare, no media frenzy, just peace. It felt almost poetic. A man who gave the world so many unforgettable songs about life and loss, love and risk, slipped away quietly without needing a stage. There was no public memorial, no final concert, but maybe that's how he wanted it. Because Kenny Rogers wasn't about grand exits. He was about people, about stories, about the kind of songs that made you pull your car over and just listen because it felt like he was singing your life. He left us so many gifts, not just hits, but messages. To take chances, to walk away when it's time, to fight for the people you love, and to live with dignity even when the spotlight fades. Kenny Rogers didn't just play the gambler, he was the gambler. And he played life exactly the way it should be played. With heart, with courage, and with a knowing smile. And in the end, he didn't fold. He bowed out with grace and gave us one last song to carry forever.